Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast pre-show here on Patreon. I am your host, Corey Derrick, and for this special anniversary edition of the Boss Rush pre-show, I am joined by the person who made me do all this. You may know him as the host of Nintendo Pow Block, the loud mouth with hot takes.
For Sunday's episode.
That retro code Eddie V is here.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Corey, it has been a crazy day. The day of this recording.
You're telling me. I mean, I know everybody's kind of like excited for the Xenoblade stuff, right? As of this recording, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition has been announced for the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, and we are going to talk about it on Power Block. We are going to probably next special bass. But dude, Nintendo got 2025 on lock. Like,
I know. I'm starting to think that next console is never coming out.
This heat is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. And yes, I'm sad that Firewalk is shutting down. Also, the makers of Concord. I'm kind of because I'm sending the question into the console creatures, their PlayStation podcast. Like, I was kind of wondering about Firewalk. Like, if Sony didn't close them down and gave them another chance, would they like to see something with like them take Killzone? Because Guerrilla Games is not doing Killzone anymore. They said it's dead. Like, they're not doing it. Mm-hmm. But I kind of would like. I wonder will Insomniac and Guerrilla Games give Firewalk? Hey, you guys make another Resistance game or do a reimagining?
Well, they're closed. They're done. They're toast.
Right.
They're out.
But
I wonder. I actually wonder if a lot of that talent's going to end up either at Bungie or that new Bungie creative spinoff team.
I think I know some people left. Some people got moved to other places in it. So I could see that happening. I mean, that would just at this point in time would make good sense because a lot
of that talent is from old Halo studio. The old Bungie who did old Bungie who did Halo 1, 2, 3, that entire saga, right? So I mean, they have if they could do something with Bungie creative is all I'm saying.
Yeah. But what my question is that instead of like just a hypothetical, if Sony didn't close them and gave them another chance, would them making another Resistance game or doing a Killzone game, like would that be something like the route to go with? Because then I started thinking about Jay Raymond's studio. They haven't even put their first game out.
Oh, I
like
know. Fair Games is in so much trouble.
Right, because my thing is, if their game doesn't sell, is Sony gonna do the same thing? Because this is the thing about it, is that and I know David who in our group chat was talking about the game industry is not in a good equilibrium, and I'm just like, well, it will get there, but the thing about it is that when there's so much of a certain genre that is just over cluttered and not doing nothing, like people are not going to be interested, and so when that happens, they're not going to be buying games in that genre. Now, and I did say gamers are choosing. We are choosing about what genre that we love to play. Or I should say, have a library in our games. It's weird I know it's going to be weird for people to hear that, but it's just like, why is the hero shooter, multiplayer kind of shooter, why is that cluttered and not doing well? But like the soul style games, even though that's cluttered and people enjoy it, why is that style of gaming respected and accepted and making money, but not the other one? It's kind of weird.
I think it's just like an ebb and flow thing. I mean, remember, I mean, look, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, nobody wanted to play single player games, right? And now that's all anybody
Yeah.
wants, right? So I don't know. I think it's just a generational kind of my here's my
It feels
theory.
like it.
Here's
It feels
here's
like a transition thing, kind of
sure.
in a
Yeah,
sense.
but here's my theory, right?
Mhm.
A lot of kids these days get into games because it's a social thing, right? It's
Yes.
a social thing. They get to hang out with their friends. They get to, whatever, do multiplayer things, right? But then, they go whatever platform they're playing on, they go and discover new games, right? Like even single player experiences or, I mean, I think Fortnite is actually a great draw for something like this where like, oh,
Yeah.
look, Master Chief, oh, Marcus Phoenix, Kratos, Aloy, like these are all massive single player experiences. Now, granted, obviously, the Xbox side of things has a massive multiplayer component to them too, right? But like
Hmm.
they're discovering characters that way too. From it's the Smash experience, right? Where oh man, remember Smash when they introduced all these Fire Emblem characters? Guess what? Fire Emblem's super popular now. I wonder why.
Yeah.
you know?
Same thing with Xenoblade. Once those
Mhm.
once Xenoblade 2 characters came into Smash, the series literally got popular.
Mhm. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we're in this strange period where multiplayer games are going to get the this generation, like my nephew's generation, is either gonna play multiplayer games and phase out of gaming, or they're gonna
Hmm.
start finding new experiences and they'll have their multiplayer game while they play single player experiences. Kind of like, like I mean, I play Destiny. That's my multiplayer game, but I play a lot of single player experiences.
Right.
Uh, and that's kind of where we've found ourselves at, and that's why a lot of these you know high risk high reward for these multiplayer games. But how many games have shut down? I mean, Concord's a great example. X Defiant is another example from Ubisoft. And you know a big risk can grant you a big reward, but it can also like really destroy you. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think everybody wanted a piece of that Fortnite pie, and Fortnite's gobbling it all up still, because that game
I-
is, despite what you want to say about it or make fun of it or whatever, like that game is doing something incredible and is still doing. I mean, that game is going to be that game is 8 years old already.
Yeah.
7 years old. That's insane. I mean, we were like still doing so many different things. Boss Rush didn't even exist when Fortnite came out,
Right.
and PUBG
Well,
was the big battle royale.
and that's I was about to say that I'm just like the original version of Fortnite wasn't doing nothing until they transitioned to what it is now and approved upon it. Um, it's funny that you say that because I was listening to Digital Foundry's podcast and they was talking about the console war in a sense, and one of the hosts said that at this point in time, people don't care about console. The young people don't care about console wars because they're stuck playing Fortnite. So anytime people are talking about games and consoles and stuff, like these kids don't care because it's Fortnite and Minecraft. Um,
hmm
and stuff. It's just like it's mostly the adult gamers, and I'm talking about adult wise, like literally in their 30s and their 40s, who buy games, who understand like some of the history of gaming, who has played from Nintendo till now, or even started out with the PS1 and everything. Like those are the ones that's caring about console gaming. Um,
hmm
you know, and the reason I said the general transition was at a point before it became what it is. Like we had the PS2 and GameCube and Xbox days, and you had different kind of games that you can explore and enjoy. Mario Kart was going strong since the Super Nintendo. Microsoft brings out Halo, and Halo multiplayer becomes the thing of that era before like the 360 comes. Resident Evil 4 drops and brings in the third person view, but then Gears of War takes it and makes it into almost in every game of that that style of gaming. And then Call of Duty and Battlefield happened. With a little bit of modern Medal of Honor on GameCube, Medal of Honor 2 Frontline, like that was a big kind of thing for first person shooters. Once Call of Duty started getting like big, a lot of third party companies were heading into um the first person point of view, but it was all about that multiplayer,
Hmm.
because they think if a game has multiplayer it was going to sell.
Hmm.
Uncharted drop, and at the Uncharted drop, we get games like Tomb Raider. Of course Grand Theft Auto had been big when PS2 comes. Like there's so many games that has influenced different genres, and the transition of them until now, just like a lot of that style of gaming doesn't matter, because at the forefront of it, if you look at gaming or even hear about it, it really is just Minecraft and Fortnite, because kids are playing it because of how popular and how much money it's making. But
Hmm.
I'm like, if we look at it, the transition of JRPGs and or role playing games in general, that is the thing now, in a sense. you know,
Yeah.
when everybody was making fun of Nintendo because of all the ports. Now I'm like, shoot, dude, look at all the ports and the remasters that get so many people excited when it
Hmm.
comes out. Soul Reaver. If Sega was just like, we got all the license back for all the music for um Crazy Taxi, we're dropping it out on all platforms, a remaster of it, good and well that game will make some good old money.
Hmm.
People will be hyped about that if that happened.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I think at this point, I know you and I we talk an awful lot about Nintendo when we're together, and we talk
Mhm.
an awful lot about Nintendo when we're not. But I
Yeah.
think I think you're going to start seeing either a lot of these companies take pages out of Nintendo's book in terms of, hey, we got to scale our budget back. Our games don't have to look super photorealistic. We got to start telling. I mean, look at the most popular single player games right now. It's well, not most popular, but the ones that are kind of trending, I guess, right now, right? It's
Yeah.
uh if it's not a first party major title, it's like, I don't know, trails of whatever, hot cakes. I don't know how many games there are of that
I think
series, but
Coast still, yeah, and yeah, the Trail series, and
yeah,
that
and
came out
like,
of and that literally came out of nowhere.
yeah, and I'm trying to think of all the games right now that are like hot that aren't first party games, but like, I'm playing Black Ops 6, and like, I mean, that's an Activision Blizzard game. They make money every
Mhm.
year, so their budget's no problem. But then you have something like, Prince of Persia, I think, is a good example of a game that, it didn't meet quote unquote expectations. But I'm like, you made a $40 Metroidvania game. What exactly were your expectations for this game? It wasn't going to sell
They
20 million units like Assassin's Creed, right?
right.
But
Yeah, I think that's the thing that gets in the way is expectations
yeah.
and everything. Because I
Hmm.
know, I understand that they're trying to recoup that money because they got to pay back the investors and everything. But I'm like, this is a market um that there's just so many choice and so much budget that people have. Just because your game don't knock it out the park when it's first released and everything doesn't mean that it's not going to be successful or anything. You got to give a lot of these games times to sell. Look, no disrespect to Spider-Man 2, but Spider-Man 2 made a lot of money when it first came out, and then it put her out It did more than Super Mario Wonder, but
Well,
then
not
Super
not
Mario,
not just that with Spider-Man, but like, that budget was like $320 million, and like
yeah,
you said, let's just say conservatively, right? They sold 10 million units at $70 a piece, right?
yeah,
I mean, that's I mean, half of that covers the budget, and then a quarter of that goes back to Disney. So you're like not even doubling your budget in terms
right.
of profit. So like, and that's just I know Spider-Man's going to sell a lot more than that. It probably has already. I'm just using that as like an example, right? So,
Simple. You're right.
um,
But then, you look at Mario Wonder, and it's just so month after month after month. It don't matter what numbers it did. There was a continued profit. Mario Kart. Look, Mario Kart is. If I gotta say for Nintendo to have bank, Mario Kart is the one that's funding a lot of those games because that thing stays on the list, and regardless of where it's at, it's been sold.
mhm,
Animal Crossing came in second. It's and shoot, those games are still selling.
mhm,
Tears of the Kingdom did what 14 million or 10 million the weekend that it came out. That's lucky.
mhm.
That was literally by luck.
Yeah.
There's never been a Zelda game that got that 10 million in 3 days. Shoot, there would never be another Zelda game to do even that kind of number and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of third party want to get to that number, but I'm like, that stuff takes time. I think what gets us as gamers that makes not us upset but discouraged is that when we hear that companies sold past 1 million or three, and that publisher is not happy. Of course, this is Square Enix. This was Square Enix with Sleeping Dogs and with Tomb Raider when it was on PS3 and 360. It's just like, you guys did good numbers. I know you didn't spend that. I know your budget wasn't that high or
Mhm.
anything, but then you're still dissatisfied with it. Like
Yeah.
I think that gets us like kind of like, what numbers are you expecting? Because I like, once you place that expectation on a game to do mad numbers, I'm like, you're not gonna reach it out of the gate. And even if you did reach it out of the gate, it's not guaranteed that game is gonna get a sequel, or that studio is not gonna close.
Right. Yeah. It's it's sad. It's sad that, games have never been better, yet,
Mm-hmm.
and games have never been bigger, and yet you see these studios closing, and some of these games just never coming out, and it's sad and it sucks, and I feel bad for some of these studios. So,
I think that's why with Sakurai with his channel, um, and him putting all of that stuff out to help developers and everything, just regardless of what platform that you make a game or where you come from, who your studio, I think he's teaching a lot of these developers and hopefully these publishers that there are things that you can learn to help make your game successful.
mhm,
If you take these steps and you execute them, if you personally as a developer execute them well, you should see some rewards come from
yeah,
it, you know.
yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for the pre-show. We went a little long on this guy. Um, but yeah, this is we'll be back with a regular episode next week. And we'll figure it out. We're having our fall meeting this week, so we didn't want to miss a week, so um Ed and I usually do one of these anniversary things once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, our when does this go out? The 5th, I think, November 5th. So our anniversary is the 14th or something.
uh,
something like that, of our first official. Well, it was the NX show first, right? And then it became the Boss Rush podcast around episode 21, I think. And that episode posted on like the 19th or something, November 19th. So we're gonna talk more about year 5 on the main show. But if you are a patron, thank you for your support, your continued support here on the Boss Rush Network.
Yes. Oh, and today, today you guys watching this video is election day, so hopefully you guys go out and vote.
This goes out on Sunday. I don't think election day is on Sunday.
Oh, you said the 5th. That's why.
The main show goes out. I don't know what date it is. Whatever.
Well,
you know what? The pre-show goes out on Sunday and the main show goes out on Monday. Okay. So the 4th, I guess. Sorry, everybody. America.
well, if you see this, get ready to vote.
Yeah, go vote. Support and be an American. If you're not American and you listen to us, happy Tuesday. We'll see ya on the main show.
Bye, everybody.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.